I'd like to call to order the Winthrop School Committee meeting on this lovely Monday, June 30th at 6 p.m. in the Harvey Hearing Room at 1 Metcalf Square in Winthrop, Mass. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Leonard, Mr. Lettieri?
Yep.
Mr. Matucci?
Yep.
Ms. Petrie?
Here.
Mr. Purinton? Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Lettieri, could you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments? Any delegates and visitors?
We do. So tonight, we have a, now I can say former student, so one of our 2025 graduates, Shannon Ranieri, who's here with us tonight. So Shannon did a lot of news coverage during the override for the Viking Times, and I think you produced a few things for the transcript. She and I spent a fair amount of time together talking about the override, me teaching her, and her learning about what an override is and why we need it. She asked a lot of really good questions. She allowed me sort of a platform to be able to explain what an override is to a student, although I felt like I was talking to a member of one of the committees because she's very bright. So Shannon entered her article, one of the articles of the many that she had written about the override, to the Gracie Awards, which is a series of awards given out by the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation. And she was chosen as a winner and a recipient of an award. So she and her family attended an award ceremony in New York City in late June, where she was presented with the award for her article, and this is it. Looks like an Emmy. I'm proudly showing it. It's really cool. It's actually very heavy. It says, "The Gracie Awards presented by the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation." And on the side, it says the Viking Times, blog, and newsletter at Winthrop High School, Shannon Ranieri. So I am flexing right now because I'm totally proud of her. The amount of passion that she put into her writing, but more importantly, I know what she's going to be doing. She's going off to the University of Maryland, and I know the path that she's going to be taking. She is far beyond her years and more than ready to take this next big step. But she definitely helped me, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say her writing, because it was so factual and researched, and what she wrote, she would share with me ahead of time to make sure that what she was interpreting for me was correct. So what she put out to the public was very factual, and I think that definitely helped in the passing of the override. I don't think you knew that, but I'm telling you now. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything you want to say, Shannon, but we are incredibly proud of you.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you particularly to Ms. Barry, Ms. Leonard, Mr. Lettieri, Ms. Matucci, and I think just everyone, because you've answered all my questions. It's probably annoying to see my face after every meeting, trying to hound you for questions with a big notebook, which I feel empty without, because it's the first time I'm here without a notebook. I don't know what to do with my learnings, because usually I was writing something down here. But I just want to say thank you very much for letting me ask you an endless amount of questions. Oftentimes, I know with Ms. Howard, I would repeat myself repeatedly, just making sure I get the right answers and I could come across without all the political jargon that often comes with translating stuff from this and giving it back to the public. And just thanks for listening to me and letting me write down all your answers meticulously, and for the emails that I would hound you all with, just in case I missed anything or wanted to make sure I spelled your name right. Fairly sure.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, massive deal.
Yeah.
Jane Pauley was there.
Yeah.
Jane Pauley, I had the most amazing conversation with her, because I was the only high school winner there. And because that's why my name's not on the award, because I couldn't apply as a college student. The lowest applicant you can do is a college student. So I'm like, I have a piece that might work, but I'm not a college student, and I don't have an accredited program or whatever. So she kind of guided me, but I couldn't get my name on the board, unfortunately. But I submitted 2 articles. They had to be within a certain time frame. So I submitted it was right before, I submitted the first article I ever did, and then I did a second one right before the election. And, yeah, so I told, when they announced my name, they said representing Winthrop High School, Shannon Renary, and then the event went on, blah, 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 blah. And then Margaret, I keep calling her Martha Teichner. She was given the Lifetime Achievement Award that night, and her best friend, Jane Pauley, who's also a recipient of it, gave that award to her. And so I went up to Martha, I said, I admire you, like, thank you so much. And her speech was absolutely amazing. Like, I resonated with every single thing she said. That never happens to me with speeches. I've never touched like that. Then I went over to Jane Pauley and like, Miss Pauley, you are a trailblazer in this industry. I said, I'm Shannon Renary. She's like, you're the high schooler. I said, yeah. And then she gave me the biggest hug in the world.
That's
like,
amazing.
Like a grandmother. She
Yeah.
went, oh my God.
That's
She gave me the
great.
biggest hug. I actually have pictures.
That's
and,
great.
She's like, I told my boss, she said, when they called your name and they said high school, she said, I turned around to my boss and she said, that might have been life-changing. I'm like, you're talking to me right now. I was like,
Wow.
like, you have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
So it was, she just gave me, unfortunately I don't remember half the conversation because I was starstruck. It was just amazing to get to talk to her and just like, she's the epitome of women breaking down barriers throughout the industry. And I just mentioned to you guys over here that I just finished reading Connie Chung's article, and she mentioned Jane Pauley and how, like, Jane Pauley was just amazing. She was very down to earth, and I'm like, I met her,
Yeah.
and I know her. That like I know her to be that.
She hugged you.
very nice- She hugged me. I know her to be like that flowery, very very sweet. I did reach out to Brandon Morrison, who's the executive producer of CBS, and I just like, I kind of want to send out like a personal note, and he was there. I completely did not see him at all. I would just want to send to know her. I haven't gotten a response back, but like I did tell all of you guys, I'll hoard him with these. Do you guys listen to Magic 106.7?
Of course. Who doesn't?
You know, Sue and Kendra.
Yeah.
They were nominated. They actually also received a Gracie Award because they have a podcast on the side.
Yeah.
So I met them.
Oh, neat.
My mom had reached out to them earlier. She's like, Shannon also is receiving a Gracie. She would love to meet you. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll try to make it happen. So I saw them in line waiting to check in, and I sprinted over to them. I'm not kidding, I sprinted. I don't know if it was nerves or something. I was not feeling well. It was just like the butterflies and the excitement decided to kick in right when we were leaving the hotel. So like the night before, Mom's like, are you nervous? I'm like, no. She's like, are you excited? I'm like, I think so. And then as soon as we were leaving, I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, so I met them. I have a picture with them. That was a lot of fun. And then I met Boomer Esiason.
Ah.
He was also a fellow Terp. He graduated University of Maryland, so I met him. I wrote, for the Viking Times, I wrote a Jets article, and he has to read it. I still didn't send it to him. He's probably never going to read that email, but whatever. So I met Boomer Esiason, and then I'm also a Jets fan. I very rarely admit that, especially in New England.
Yeah.
And Ms. Galvin, you're laughing. So I said, like, I'm a Jets fan. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, because he played for the Jets as well. And I said, well, it's my dad. He kind of got into it. And then my mom said, well, her grandfather was a 52-year season ticket holder for the Jets, and then dropped it a couple years ago because he said that they sucked.
Yeah.
They do. And then Boomer said, well, you know what? I blame your grandfather for introducing you to the losing Jets legacy. But wouldn't trade it for the world. It was funny. But it was just awesome, and I have a ton of memories. I met Sue and Kendra. I met a woman from London who also got it. I met a lawyer based out of DC who does media law. She was actually a judge, and she and I ended up sitting next to each other. I met the head of Hallmark Media. She was there as well. I have her contact. I have a contact for the women in media, and then I met a podcaster based out of Connecticut, and they were all at my table, and I met a couple college students as well. So it was just a really eye-opening experience. Talk about networking. Like, I use this to network,
Yeah.
but this was an entirely
Next level.
Like, I have
Next level.
Amazing
I'm
Wait,
still like
Good.
riding off of that. Like, I haven't been able to wipe a smile off my face as soon as I walked in. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Did you ever think
Good.
the Viking Times and the Winthrop
Which looked
transcript,
good.
and of course your relationship with me, is going to get you to that level? It's all about making connections, you know that.
Yes, I honestly had no idea because I applied on. I didn't even tell my parents until after I got the email saying congratulations. I applied. I'm like, you know what, whatever. And then I met a good friend about a year ago in DC. We attended a journalism conference together, and he was the representative from Arkansas. So I texted him. I'm just like, I think I'm gonna apply for this. And he's like, yep, do whatever. It was a $75 application fee. But I'd rather spend $75 and fail and
Yeah,
know that I tried
of course.
than like sit around on my hands being like, well, what could have happened? So then I applied. that was in what? That was January, and then, in April I found out. So
Yeah.
I kept that quiet for a very long time, and I was bursting at the seams. And then I saw on Instagram, they posted like, thank you to our judges, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you know, it should be waiting. And then the next day I found out in my history class that I got a Gracie. So I really jumped up, I ran over to my teacher, and I had already started crying. I don't cry tears of happiness, but I cried tears of happiness. And so I ran right over to her, I'm like, I need to leave the room. And I was slowly starting to hyperventilate. And she's like, oh, okay, then I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, you'll never guess what happened. So yeah, it was, I tell my parents almost everything. Well, I tell my mom everything. And I just like to keep that from her, was like kind of tug to my heart a little bit, because I'm like, you know, she should know about this, but I don't know, just hearing her reaction over the phone was the best part, honestly.
That's great.
But I never thought that, I don't know, because like Winthrop is a fairly small town. When I tell people at work, oh yeah, I'm from Winthrop, they're like, where's that?
Yeah.
It's like just a small peninsula right outside.
Where the girl with the award lives
Yeah.
right now, till she goes to
Yeah,
Washington.
So it's just like
Yeah.
small town Winthrop.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
congratulations, we're super proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep in touch with us,
Oh, for sure.
you know, because now I know someone who knows someone, you know, and when you're doing your big-time stuff, you might get a little email, hey, Shannon, remember me?
Yes. No, when I told a friend who's won a couple local Emmys for from Boston. Juju Chang actually handed me my award. She was the host that night, and she placed the award right in my hands. That was pretty cool.
That's great.
But yeah, so she's a photojournalist, and she won a couple. She won about like 3 or something New England Emmys. And when I told her, she's like, "Don't forget about the little people." So,
Yeah, right here.
I am definitely.
This girl right here.
Will not be forgetting this. This
Yeah.
has quite literally changed my life. And I
It's
actually,
awesome.
when I attended the conference last year, I got a citation from Representative Turco, and he said, get involved in local politics. And
Here you are.
There you
this is
go.
the outcome of getting involved in local
Yeah,
politics.
good job, good job. Thank you for bringing it to us, too, yeah, excellent. Yeah. So you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Although you've served your time, you might stay. All right, thank you.
Gracie, come watch. See what it's like.
Funny.
All right, should we move on to approve the minutes of the meeting on June 9th?
Motion to approve.
Can we do an all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Any abstentions? One. One abstention?
Yes.
Okay, great. Bear with me, we have several payroll warrants that we're gonna take all at one time. We have 8 of them, but the first we will do separate is a warrant in the amount of $705,982.77.
Motion. Second.
Can we do a roll call?
Yes. Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes. And now I'm gonna read 8 payroll warrants, and then we will take one vote at the end. First payroll warrant in the amount of $971,610.69. Next, payroll warrant in the amount of $288,527.88. Payroll warrant in the amount of $692,557. Payroll warrant in the amount of $672,240.14. Next payroll warrant in the amount of $671,977.74. Payroll warrant in the amount of $670,929.69. Payroll warrant in the amount of $666,685.30. And finally, payroll warrant in the amount of $189,000.54. May I have a motion to approve
Motion.
these?
Second.
And can we do a roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes. Phew. Okay. Next up, buildings and grounds. We have Winthrop High School class of 2028 car wash in the ATC driveway on July 11th. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes. Okay, next up, we have, under general functions, reports. We do not have any subcommittee reports, but I do believe we have a superintendent's report tonight.
Yes, a short one, because with summer, this is the summer. They'll get longer as we go through the summer. But just a reminder about the summer meals program. It starts on the 7th, and it runs through the 15th of August at the Fort Banks School. That's for kids only program that's running within the school, as well as all the special education programs. And then the Cummings School site is also going to meet the needs of for kids only, because those are Winthrop Public Schools kids, and they're also doing tutoring within our school. They will pick up their meals at the school and take them back. 21st Century Learning Center is in the schools. That's one of our grant programs, and all of our special ed programs will be getting meals there as well. Just about the budget, we're working on the close of the budget, so you have your expenditure report in your packet, and it shows that there's still an unencumbered balance. That's sort of eye-catching, but what it means is we still have bills that we still have to pay. So although today is the 30th, those bills are being encumbered, if not have already been encumbered by today. Technically, we have until like the first week of July to make sure we get all of those. So I just wanted to give you a sense of what that means. So I believe there's about $1.1 million left, which is a lot of money. And what that money will cover is the last payroll in June. It'll also, that's not posted to this, so you'll see that at the next one. So you'll see that in the form of about $189,000, as well as we're awaiting the last June bills for healthcare for the school department employees, the retiree healthcare bill, as well as the last unemployment compensation bill. That should come in roughly around $500,000 to $600,000 in total. And we also have some end-of-the-year expense purchase orders that were processed today that will also take that 1.1 million down to zero. So I anticipate that we're going to be right on target again this year, which I'm happy about. I don't anticipate the need to go back to the town for any type of supplemental budget. I think, all the principals and department heads did a great job at getting what they needed, when they needed it. Again, we ran on a below-level service budget last year, and we got through. We're on upcoming is a level service budget. So to talk about that, we're working on, that budget has been designed and put together. Tonight, you'll vote on finalizing your final approval of that budget. You voted for a level service budget back several months ago. That all went through the FinCom and went through the town council. The town council appropriated a budget, which I'll talk about. And tonight, as we get through the agenda, you'll vote to see that that budget that we were appropriated has now been reconditioned to meet the total allocation that we received. So that will come up in a minute. Staffing, we have filled the majority of our staff openings. We found some excellent employees to fill our new hire openings. Unfortunately, some of the employees are coming from communities that had failed override budgets.
Oh.
And so some communities have had to lay staff off. So what is horrible for them turned out okay for us in terms of recruiting people who have a background and experience, which is what we do need. And as you know, Susan Gibbons was hired as the new PPS director. Today was Jen's last day, Jen O'Connell's last day. I must say that years of working with Jen, when Jen took over for me back in 2013, and training Jen since I've come back, and one of the most important pieces of that training is around leaving a place cleaner than you found it, because you just never know when you might want to come back. And that happened to me, and that was, experience that I like to share with people, that because when I left, I left the place equally as clean, if not cleaner, than when I got here. It's best practice. So Jen is offered to continue to support Sue Gibbons. She's open for any questions, concerns. Sue has Jen's number, Jen has Sue's number. They met and had some great discussion. I'm sure Susan will have questions. I'm grateful that Jen is willing to, because it doesn't always happen that way, to answer the phone. And I know she'll answer the phone for me, because you think she can email people? I have her phone number. So I anticipate Sue coming. She officially starts tomorrow. I anticipate her coming to the next school committee meeting so that you are able to meet her. And I'll save the rest of the budget stuff till we get there. And next thing on the agenda.
Any homeschool applications?
No.
No. Do we want to talk about resignations?
Yep,
and
so-
postings?
Sure, for personnel, so we had a special education teacher from the Cummings School resign, and a speech-language pathologist that covered both the Cummings and the GFB. Both of those people are moving out of state. Again, 2 more people moving out of state, which is interesting. We have no additional retirements. I think we had enough of those this year. And so we are posting the elementary special ed teacher, and we will be posting also the speech and language position, but it just didn't come out before this came out. And you'll see in your packet all the athletic coaching positions for the next season that is in there. And that is it for that.
Okay, great. We don't have anything under new business, under unfinished business. We're going to hold on the food services civil rights policy. We're still working through that.
Yep, until we're going to rebirth the policy subcommittee to finalize all of that,
Okay.
if not this summer, definitely at the beginning of the school year.
Okay.
And then the other unfinished business is your vote on the new budget. I put in your packet just sort of a cover page that gave you an understanding of what the level service request was from the school department to the town, which was $40,515,522. I went through and broke it down so you can see how that broke out for salary, longevity, salary other, which is other stipends and all of that stuff that's in the budget, then the expense budget, what the total is, and what we were attempting to use for grants back when we did this, God, what was it, April, May? When you did the first vote, I believe it was May. So the first request was for $40,515,522. And then we went through the finance subcommittee. During that time frame, from when you approved the first budget to the time frame that we got to the town council and the finance subcommittee, there were some things that have changed. Again, you've seen different resignations, different hires. While that goes on, I continuously massage the budget so that we're, on target and asking for, a proper budget, and we knew we were asking for a level service budget. So you see then the breakdown of this revised budget, just minimally revised from what you had voted on before. So the new budget that you'll be voting on tonight is the town had appropriated and approved an appropriation of $40,150,842. So the budget that you see here reflects that total amount. In salaries, the cost for salaries is $22,852,631. The cost for longevity for salary in the salary department is $123,250. The salary other, which is all kinds of other extracurriculars that we do, is $1,772,346. The expenses are $18,179,714. And then that gives you a total true reflection of the school's actual cost to be $42,927,941. We also worked with the grants that we have and any outside revenue accounts that we had, things like incoming preschool tuition money, some incoming circuit breaker money, incoming I-20 for international students, and we were able to back out $2,777,000, $2,777,099, because those expenses are tied to either incoming grants that we continue to pray are coming in at what we expect, and revenue accounts. Should grants come in less than what we expect, we have a plan for that. Won't cover it all, but we will have to reconvene to see how we will adjust that. May mean changing some of our expense lines, but hopefully we don't have to have that discussion. So when you back those grants out from the $42.9 million, you get to the appropriation of the town council, which is $40,150,842. And that is fully reflected in the now, I think it's like 18 pages of a budget from 52 pages just a few years ago. So I'll entertain any questions. It does require a vote of the school committee to move forward and start the budget tomorrow.
And I entertain a motion to approve the budget.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you for reworking everything the way that you have this whole, I would say budget season, but you do it
Budget year.
year-round.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
budget
thank you
year.
for all of the work
Yeah.
you do on that.
I actually enjoy it, which is kind of a little bit odd, but that's me.
Anything else?
There are a lot of hands in this budget, by the way. There's no one person that does anything here. So there are a lot of hands from not only myself, but from Laurie, from the principals, from people giving us information on grants, from the town side supporting us, helping us understand, about their revenue. So there are a lot of hands involved in this. I'd love to take credit for the full thing, but it's just not real.
She is the crazy one. Keeps it all in line.
All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Abstain.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes. Great. Any public relations? Any further public relations?
Just the only one thing I did miss out of my school committee report that I guess could be considered public relations. We do have upcoming, and I printed two sides, look at me, saving trees, upcoming negotiations. So just for the public to know, we will be continuing to meet to negotiate 7 unions. Right now, we have scheduled 4 separate unions. July 9th, we'll be meeting with the secretaries and the nurses. July 10th will be the teachers. July 16th, secretary and nurses again. July 22nd, ESPs. August 19th, teachers. August 20th, ESPs. I would like people to know that we have asked the union to provide us with additional dates so that we could meet more often during the summer, with the goal of having the contract negotiations settled by the end of the summer. We'll see how that goes. I have not received any additional dates from them as of yet. And then prior to the July 9th meeting, I'll be reaching out to the committee to have a subcommittee meeting for each of those units so that we can have discussion prior to going into the next set of negotiations. So you'll receive an email from me probably tomorrow.
Okay, great. If there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes. What'd you do to yourself?
Can you take a picture?
Oh, jeez, my last day was Monday.